The film opens with a young man named Roy. He works at a company and becomes a graphic designer there. Because he has so much work, he is forced to work overtime several times until late at night, even on weekends. Roy was actually forced to do the job because of economic pressures, especially since the salary given was not in accordance with the energy expended. It was proven that Roy's other colleagues resigned from there, so all the work had to be given to Roy, who was still holding on. However, because he worked too hard and forgot the time, Roy finally collapsed. That night, because of exhaustion, Roy fainted in his office. Because of that, he had to be rushed to the clinic to have his condition checked. And there Roy was treated by a beautiful nurse named Abby. After checking Roy's condition, Nurse Abby said that there was nothing serious about Roy's condition. He just needed to rest and not work too much first. However, at the same time, Roy was daydreaming, seeing the beauty of the nurse who took care of him. Even when he was at home, Roy kept thinking about Nurse Abby. And he even imagined being intimate with Sister Abby. It seemed like Roy had fallen in love with Abby at first sight. The next morning, Roy told a colleague named JB about Abby. He said that before Roy approached Abby, he had to practice approaching women first so that he wouldn't be nervous when he was with Abby. It so happened that there was also a woman there to exercise. But when he saw the woman's face, Roy immediately left there. He said he couldn't approach a woman who wasn't his type. Roy also said he wanted to meet Abby directly and pretended to have an injury on his hand. Then in the morning, Roy really came to the clinic where Abby worked. There he said that his hand was sprained while exercising at the gym the other day. While examining Roy, they chatted and got to know each other. And at that time Roy also found out that Abby was still single. Roy's opportunity to approach Abby became more open when Abby asked for help moving to his new apartment. At that time, Roy also managed to get Abby's cell phone number and social media accounts. And when he got home, Abby immediately looked at Abby's social media account. Seeing Abby's beautiful photos, Roy imagined being intimate with Abby again. Meanwhile, the pressure at work was getting heavier. Not to mention his co-workers who always asked him for help. Even though he was in the office, his mind only imagined Abby, and he missed meeting him. Until finally he injured his own hand with a syringe, so he could go to the clinic to see Abby. Since then, Roy's mind couldn't be separated from Abby. He also made excuses more often so he could continue to go to the clinic and meet Abby. If yesterday he only imagined being intimate from afar, this time he imagined it in front of Abby directly. Even so, Roy didn't dare to say that he was interested in Abby. He just kept his feelings in his own heart. Until one day when Roy returned to the clinic, it turned out that the nurse had changed, and he said that Abby had left there and wanted to move out of town. That made Roy's feelings so chaotic, and after that he might not be able to meet Abby anymore.
Nurse Abby?
One day when he went to the office, his boss started to reprimand him for often leaving the office for unclear reasons. Roy, who heard that, immediately lost his patience and decided to quit his job. The boss, who was afraid of losing Roy, tried to persuade him by offering a vacation and adding new workers to help him. However, Roy was sure he wanted to leave the office. After that, Roy went straight to Abby's apartment and expressed his feelings. He didn't want to keep this to himself anymore and was afraid of not being able to say his feelings after Abby left. Abby, who heard Roy's words, apparently had been waiting for that expression from Abby for a long time. Apparently, they both had the same feelings. In the end, they officially started dating, and Abby also asked Roy to come into his room and immediately made out for the first time. Now Roy could really feel firsthand what he had only been able to imagine. And in the end, the film ended.